How are we going to fulfill our products even better than we currently do? Turns out we actually do it better than these large scale 3PLs. Like actually not even a little bit better, a lot better.
Yeah.
Something else that came up not over the weekend, but it got, let me fucking start that one over. Something else that's noteworthy to talk about here is, do we want to get Canadian Protein into other retailers? First of all, let me lead with that and get your thoughts.
I think it would largely depend. I think when I'm looking at what the what Canadian Protein is as a brand, I feel like mass distribution through retailers is not necessarily in line with it. Right? Like, what is Canadian Protein? It is a high quality product for a low cost. If you're having it in retailers, you're introducing a middle person that has to make profit. And not only that, but you're also introducing extra freight, extra this, extra that, right? There's several additional intermediary expenses that either eats up our profit, which, okay, we could potentially handle it depending on the product, but like our best sellers is protein powders, and our profit margins on protein powders is not that great, right?
Relative
to the supplements, right? And then so if you then bump the retail price, it's like, okay, well, now we're no longer in line with what our company strategy is, right? But so, what's your thinking?
Nothing in particular, but we ended up getting contacted. Obviously, so when I bought BioSteel, you and I were talking that, either number one, we're going to learn a lot from a brand that was doing well over $100 million this fiscal year, which all we really learned was what not to do, which you could argue that, we did learn a lot from their mistakes, but I thought we were going to learn the other side of the business, right? Like learn what to do. Instead, we just learned everything what not to do. So
no, I would say that there's some things that we learned. I mean, I agree with you that the vast majority, but I think there's definitely some things that we looked at that has been like positive insights into applying it to Canadian Protein. Let's say, for example, like we've been exposed to how something operates at such a large scale that we weren't necessarily exposed to before, right?
Yeah, but we're not doing it that way. That's my point.
That's true.
Like that's true. My thought process was, we're gonna buy this brand and we're gonna like look under the hood and we're gonna be like, that's how we scale to $100 million with Canadian Protein per year. No, not the case. Like, how do we do it? Big Costco business, that gets us there.
Yeah.
But like, that's not like that. We already knew that, right? I thought there was going to be a lot more different things, or even like, how are we going to maintain the $100 million plus BioSteel business? Or I thought there was going to be like, how are we going to make, like, one of the biggest things, I will tell you this, one of the biggest things that I thought we were going to learn was from being able to look under the hood at these 3PLs. That was by far the biggest. How are we going to fulfill our products even better than we currently do? Turns out we actually do it better than these large scale 3PLs. Like actually not even a little bit better, a lot better.
Yeah.
Like significantly better.
The things that 3PL companies do that I would want to introduce as we scale is like automated inventory tracking, like scanning, right? Because we still do that manually, which is fine at our size.
I'm also, we don't even need to get into this, but I'm also talking about stuff that we didn't know we needed.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. I know we need to scan our products. I know we need more robust inventory management. Like I know all that as we scale.
Yeah,
I knew
you thought
all
that.
this.
Yeah, you thought you were gonna be seeing things that you're like, holy shit, I never even thought about doing it this way.
Dude. Like,
yeah,
way more. No, we didn't even see any of that.
Yeah,
short of like buying robots, right? Which I already know that. Amazon uses robots. DM down in the States that we uses robots supposedly, but we're not getting robots, and we still do it cheaper than them, even though they're using fucking robots. So like, and more efficient.
Yeah.
Right. But anyways, it was I'm not sure how I want to approach this because, like you said, I feel like Canadian Protein is not the retail brand. And I feel like to some extent it needs to stay a non-retail brand.
Yeah.
And only Costco.
Yeah.
And I think that
the reason why I like Costco retail is it's in line with what the Canadian Protein brand is.
Yeah.
Bulk, high quality, low price.
Yeah.
Simple, no nonsense. That's literally like what Costco's entire business model is.
Yeah, and it's what Canadian, it's what our,
and it's literally,
it so aligns with what we are as a business.
Whereas let's say, for example, like a Whole Foods, like is Canadian Protein getting into Whole Foods? No, it's your boutique style organic hemp protein that's selling for like 300 times the cost of goods, 300% over the cost of goods, right? Like
ironically, BioSteel is in there, but
yeah. but once again, BioSteel is a premium is a premium brand.
Yeah.
Right. Like that is a little bit of the different business strategy with BioSteel compared to Canadian Protein,
which is why I liked it too.
Yeah. It's a good mix because
did you hit it?
Yeah, with my thumb. It's a good mix because each of them have a little bit of a different platform in which they do well in. For example, e-commerce versus retail. You have a different kind of like level of how it lands on the premium scale. And in terms of the distribution of which products does best in, Canadian Protein is primarily protein powders. BioSteel is primarily the supplements and the RTDs, the hydration products, right? And so like when I think of what's scaling Canadian Protein, I see that business as being our online store, Amazon, Costco, protein RTDs. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think protein RTDs, and I think the protein RTDs could go retail. That's the difference. I think that's something that could go retail because we're seeing that in the drink space, like the competitors out there for the protein RTDs, like, well, most of them just taste like shit. So if we're able to come up with one that tastes good, and then we're able to lean on the experience that we've gained with BioSteel distribution of what we would do and what we wouldn't do, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But the protein powders, like, because also when it comes to the Canadian protein RTD, I want it to be competitively priced, but it's not going to be like a really low cost option. I don't see it as being like that. Whereas the bulk protein powders, that's what it is. Now, actually, to play devil's advocate, maybe the plan for protein RTDs is to do like a 24 pack of protein RTDs because it's the bulk option, and like that's all you're selling, right?
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.